Okay, here we go. It's time to start making the videos for the top 50 comics in my collection at the end of 2021. And to try to break it up a little bit, we're going to be doing books 36 through 50. So here's the last 15 of the top 50. Stick around. Welcome back, family. Thank you so much for joining yet again. What a crazy 2021 it's been, not just for everything with COVID, but even in comic books. The prices shot up, they've come down a bit, they've kind of leveled off on a lot of books. Some books have shot up, some books, who knows. But anyway, I've got my top 50 books, and it took a while to really fine-tune these. And there's different criteria that people use. Some people will say it's the most expensive ones, and some people will say it's the highest graded ones, and some people will say it's the ones that are the most difficult to replace, and some people will say it's the most sentimental ones. To me, it's kind of a combination of all of them. Okay, and what I mean by that is, I tried to picture it that if all my comic books were laid out in a row, okay, and my house is burning down, and I could only run in and grab one book and then run back out. Well, that would be my number one comic book. Regardless of price or anything else, that would be the one book that I would say, I have to have that, and I'd run back out the door. Okay, so there's enough time to run back in and get another one. Oh, that's number two. So, and I did this all the way up to 50. I said, okay, if I were trying to grab one out of the fire, considering its price, its sentimental value, what it would cost to replace if necessary, and all the other factors. That's how I make my top 50 comic books. And you'll actually notice that my number one comic book, I believe, from last year's list is not even in my top 50. It does not mean that the book means any less to me than it did back then. It's just that it's that easy for me to replace if necessary. So, without further ado, without any further eloquence, let's hit the list. And we're going to start with number 50 on the list. Now, this one is not an expensive book to replace, but this particular one is. And this was my number 2 on my list last year, and I will try to keep it on my top 50 always, is my Tales of Suspense reprint in a 9.8. Now, people that did not watch me last year are wondering, why is that in your top 50? And there's other books behind that are so much harder to get and everything else. The Boy Who Had Seven, it still is a channel, but nowhere near the same amount of videos that they have. It is the first YouTube channel that I ever subscribed to, and I loved watching the channel and everything else. And life duties, I guess you'd say. I don't want to speak for him, but things in real life, real life outside of YouTube and comic books, that is, forced him to pretty much give up his channel. So he had a big live stream, saying goodbye to and everybody was tuned into this, and we were all like, I can't believe we're losing Matt. And he had some giveaways, and one of them was, if you he said, who's the first person who can name my 3 favorite comic book characters? And I knew the answer, and I was the fastest to type, and I won this book. So, and he sent this off to me, and it was actually the first comic book I've ever won. And it was from my first ever channel that I subscribed to, one of my favorite channels, and somebody that I really like and respect. And yes, if I lost this book, could I go and buy another copy? Yes, but it wouldn't be the one from Matt. Okay, so that's why I'm always going to try to keep this one in my top 50. Number 49. This really dropped down on the list because there's so many other books that moved up into it. We have Secret Invasion number 1. This is because the Secret Invasion show is coming out, and this is the 1 in 10. Okay, so if you're looking for, remember, this is coming out as a Disney Plus show, and all the shows have been killing it. Okay, so expect this book to go up. There is a regular Secret Invasion number 1. This is the 1 in 10 variant. The price of the 9.8 is pretty close to the same. So, theoretically, this one should be much higher. It's not. Guys, look into this book if you haven't gotten it yet, okay? 49. Now, let's hit number 48. There's a Clayton Crane. Wolverine number 8, Glow in the Dark edition. The black light edition, not glow in the dark. And a 9.8. I got the book in a raw. It looked beautiful. I sent it out for grading. Came back as a 9.8 white page. You gotta love it. That's a limited book. It's very hard to replace. Number 48. Number 47 in the list. Now, this is a great book, but it's a lower grade. That's the reason why it's so low on the list. We have Iron Man and Submariner, number 1 at a 2.5. And it is an off-white to white page, which is pretty good for this time period. Came out in April of 1968. Sounds familiar. So, let's put this book next to me. That's aged better than I have. Let's be honest. Okay, so we got 50, 49, 48, 47, 46. 46 is actually a really iconic cover. Wolverine number 8. Not that Wolverine number 8, but this one. In a 9.6 white page. This could have scored so much higher. I sent this one off. I really hoped for 9.8. I didn't get it, but I did get the custom label up here. And this was the book that I learned that if you send one book out of your submission requesting a custom label and none of the others, they will separate it as a separate submission and mail it back to you separately, and you have to pay separate shipping and everything else. So this book costs a small fortune with shipping and everything else. But still kind of worth it. 45. Amazing Spider-Man number 43. First full appearance of Mary Jane Watson. Second appearance of Rhino in a 4.0 off-white to white page. No, sorry, cream to off-white. Womp, 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 womp. Rhino on the Rampage. But yeah, it's still a great, great cover. Like I said, first full appearance of Mary Jane Watson. If you're familiar with the Spider-Man, I think there were like 4 other appearances in the past. There was like, okay, you can see her foot here, you can see her hand here, and whatever. First full appearance. Number 44. I didn't label these, so I'm going to double check. 50, 49, 48, 47, 46, 45, 44. It's only a 9.4 white page, but how can you go wrong with the jump rope edition of She-Hulk, the sensational She-Hulk, being told to jump rope perfectly naked, only covering herself with the Comic Code Authority. It is a newsstand edition, and I have not seen newsstands of this book in a higher grade. This is a 1992 book. Newsstands were already getting scarce at this point. And due to this is most probably PC for at this point. So, now let's go to 43. This was a book that I got a book, traded it for a couple other books. I got one of the books, traded again, and sent it out for grading, and got myself a 9.2 white page? Yes, 9.2 white page of Moon Knight, number 1. Oh. And again, Shane, thank you so much. This is one of the books that I traded for you for, and I see the opposite book is behind me right here. Star Wars number 2. Came out as a 7.5. Still really, really cool. Great trades that you gave to me. You always give me the best values. Battlegrounds, Calhoun, Rough Edges, Comics, Shane, Dustin. In my heart, always love you guys. I got to get up and see you guys soon. It's just that it's such a drive. Can you move closer? All right, let's hit at number 42. Amazing Spider-Man number 37 in off-white to white pages and a 5.0. First appearance of Norman Osborn. Now, I got this book, honestly, in a raw on the advice of Reggie Collects. This is one of his... he has categories called Blue Ocean and Red Ocean. If you think about it, Red Ocean would be full of blood for the feeding frenzy that's going on with the sharks. That's like the Comic Tom hot list. He says it's hot. Everybody in the world has to go and buy it. What you need to do is wait for the point where nobody's talking about the book. That's when you got to get your best deals. And with today's market, these points are very far and few between. But Reggie Collects will point them out to you. So I would highly suggest that you look into his channel. And he pointed out, God, it was about a year ago, that this was a great time to buy Amazing Spider-Man number 37, first appearance of Norman Osborn in a 5 point, and I did. By the way, the release date on this was June of 1966. So Norman Osborn came out 666. Yeah, baby. But yeah, I got this book. It was a lower grade. I was very happy when it came back a 5.0. Okay, rounding off the 40s, we come to number 41 here. This is another Shane Battlegrounds Rough Edges book. And I got this off of one of his live auctions. This is when I first got into books. And he said on the auction, this is about a 9.4. Sent it out for grading order to get. It got the 9.4 white page, exactly as he said. He will never steer you wrong. NYX, number 4, second appearance of Weapon X of oh God. I can't believe I can't remember her name. Yeesh. But in all honesty, this is actually my favorite cover. I don't like NYX number 3. I don't like the cover of it. It may be the first appearance. This is the second. I get it. I just love this cover. I think it's better. I wish this was the first appearance, but just based on how I got this, and this is one of the first auctions that I got through Rough Edges, and I got to meet these guys in person, and we struck up a friendship which endures to this day. Yeah, that's most probably PC will never move. Now, I'm going to pause for a second while I get the next 5 because they're right over there. I'm back. Okay. Number 40. Now, again, this is sentimental value factors in on this, not just prices. Okay? We have Vision number 1. This is a book that I picked up basically because of the WandaVision series, and I didn't know where it was going to go. I picked up a bunch of different lines. I got the full set of the 1 through 12. Oh, love that. Matter of fact, I think, yep, over this shoulder, you can see them. Behind Stitch. Sorry. Number 12, right there, in a 9.6. Number 1 in a 9.6, and the Black Suit Spider-Man one in a 9.8. I picked those up quite a while back on Mercari, the full set of 1 through 12. Those were the best condition ones. I sent them off to be grading. I paid $17 for the whole set of 12. I didn't expect those kind of grades. I was super happy. Deals can be found. You just got to be patient, guys. So yeah, I picked this one up, and this one comes in at number 40 because I loved the book. The first appearance of Sparky is in this series. Who Agatha killed, man. Okay, number 39. This is a book that I got in a set from John's Comics with Kids. He does shows sales from once in a while too, guys. You got to pay attention to John's Comics, Southern Comic Geek. Rough Edges hasn't done a sale in a while online that I'm aware of, but make sure you check out Battleground Comics on Facebook, and make sure that you they do Facebook Live auctions. I believe they used to do them every Tuesday. Might be doing one right now. Dang it! But anyway, from John's Comics with Kids, I picked this up in a raw, sent it off, and Invincible Iron Man number 1 in a 9.8 white page. I love the book. I actually felt so bad. I messaged him. I apologized. I felt bad that I got a group of books. I think it was $20. And when it came in, I'm like, this is beautiful, this condition. Sent it off grading, 9.8. I'm like, dude, I feel bad. He's all for it. He is so supportive. He's wonderful. He's not just wonderful to his kids. He's wonderful to his fans. You got to watch Saturday Morning with the kids. He has a great, wholesome show. And if you have kids that you would like to get into comics, definitely check out John's Comics with Kids, because it brings that next generation, and we need to keep that going. I don't even know what number I'm at anymore. 36, 37, 38. 38. This is a book that I overpaid for in an auction because I got a little bit zealous. By a few bucks, not much, but it's gone up since then, and it's surpassed what I paid for it, thankfully. It's a 7.0 of Black Panther number 1. It's only an off-white to white page, but it actually presents pretty well. I'm happy with this 7.0. I like the way it looks. Going to number 37. This is a book that has dropped down a bit, and this is really, guys, you need to watch out for this book, because HBO is developing this series, and you know it will go up. Lumberjanes, number 1 in a 9.8 white page. Do you remember this one? And be careful also, there's a comic book. Make sure it has all the icons. Boombox on the back, the Lumberjanes logo and everything on the back of it. But this was circulating for around $300 for a 9.8. Now I think it's around $220, $230. Hasn't dropped all the way down. It's definitely in the affordable range. But I would look into getting this because, you know, when trailers and series start hitting, what happens? And then rounding off this video is a 9.2 with a special label, off-white to white page, Wolverine Limited Series number 1 This is from the Frank Miller 1982 series, and I remember my original collection. I had about 30 copies of each of the 4 books. And not only did I know it was a great investment, but it really is a great storyline. It's so well drawn, so well written. This is something that it's timeless. So if you get a chance, if you haven't read this yet, make sure you pick up like the trade paperback or a reprint or something like this. It's a great storyline. And now we've come to the end of the first 15, which would be 36 through 50. I'm going to condense this and then start working on the next one. Here we go. Guys, thank you so much for joining yet again for another video from Ohana Comics. I wish you all the wonderful, happy new year. We're getting ready for 2022. Hopefully everything goes away as far as the word COVID. And we can just start enjoying things again, you know, and seeing each other in public. And I mean actually seeing each other. You know what I mean? Thank you for joining yet again. Until I see you in the next video. Mahalo.